That's actually my hands. No, it's true. I'm ready! Woo! It's that time again for the best damn opening, woo, in Facebook Live history. Why? Because it's your boy, Asal Tante Oso, that bear you all know, out of hibernation to entertain Raider Nation. What? You heard me. Let's go. My Raider. I ride around town on e-bike and I wear this shirt. I swear, people literally stop me and just start laughing and going, "What are you doing, man? I mean, really, what are you doing?" Often imitated, never duplicated. That fool with no hair, that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! I'll even add the dance in tonight. Woo! The R8RBEAR! R8RBEAR! Yeah, no, you don't have one like this. I know you don't. I know you like it, and I know you don't have one like this because it was made custom for the R8RBEAR. But I do know you can order them at rn4llifer.com. That's rn4llifer.com. Do not put RN for L Life. If you don't add that R at the end of life and make it RN4L Lifer, and you put in RN4L Life, you get like a nurses.com. I'm serious. Try it. It's hilarious. Wait. I'm R8RBEAR! You do not Raider like I do. Stop saying that. Nobody Raiders like the bear. Nobody. I mean, you may be a bigger fan, but nobody's as weird as the bear. Just add oxygen. I'm in it. Please like and subscribe. Please follow on YouTube because it's free. And if you don't, you're a curmudgeon. No, I'm not taking it back. Alexa, stop. So what's up, everyone? Welcome to the show. What would you guys like to talk about tonight? Maybe we could talk about the running game or the coaching or Tradish. R8RBEAR Live. First comment. Woo. MVP tonight goes to Carlos Magana, all the way in here from YouTube. I have a few people that watch me from both. But first place, gold medal, YouTube, Carlos Magana. Second place, silver medal, bear. He even put in the 2 bear emojis. I love when you guys do that. Just remember that, guys. If you put in both bear emojis, you get the brown one and the polar bear. When I see that, you're probably going to win. It is not rigged. Third place. Oh, maybe it is because you guys know I love this guy. John the Lion. Leon. What's up, John? Welcome to the show. What are you doing changing your profile pic again? I saw you in that last one. You had your shirt off and you were all yoked up. You look good. Fourth place, honorable mention, Jim Vanderlyn, who wants all of these other kids to get off his lawn. I'm reading this. This is awesome. Wait a minute. I'm 15 minutes early and I still don't get a medal? Bear! Jim, thank you for making my night. Facebook. Oh boy, Facebook. Who could be our gold medalist tonight? Let me see. The reigning, defending, new heavyweight champion of the world, Dustin King. I should have had Mama Bear bring me a little thing of salt to pour down on this next one, because Josh Russell. Oh man, Josh, I almost said it again. I'm so used to referring to you as the heavyweight champion. That was what the salt was. I was going to pour it in your wound. Get salty. How could I disrespect you like that? It's too soon. It's only day 1 of his reign. He'll probably fall. Third place, my bronze medal goes to Tony. Make it dip. Tony, sup, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for a Raider Bear. Now, let's get to business. But first, Anna Diaz-Rincon is in the house. She's my first supporter ever. Hi, Anna. I love having Anna on the show. Joel Irons, what's up? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear. Tony, I have something out in the mail for you. And Joel, I have something out in the mail for you. So getting on that. Lucky Pace, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. S.A. Big Dog, what's up, Big Dog? Stick Hat, shout out from Southern Cali. What's up? You know I'm a Cali boy. I only just recently moved to Arizona, so don't get it twisted. I'm a Cali bear. Corinna Tripp, hello. Hi, Corinna. Okay, let's see. The Warriors are running these fools off the court. Joel, you know how we're playing right now. So that's not surprising. Stars contributed to the show. Get this lovely bell. And an announcement of who gave those stars. Corinna Trujillo. Always supporting Raider Bear Live with coin stars that go directly to us. And then we send it directly to charities all over the world, like the Kind Fund, Kids in Need of Desks, which put kids in school in Africa. That's right. You have to pay for your education in Africa. Even at the lowest levels, kindergarten, first grade, all that, you got to pay for your school. Where we as Americans, our parents just had to put jeans on us and push us out the door. Or at least that's how it was for me. Did you guys get like hugs and kisses and, driven and dropped off with love you, son, mom, love you, daughter? I'm just kidding. My parents were the best. Glenn Medina, what's up? Welcome, Bill. Joel Iron said that hat brim is flatter than these flat earthers. I take good care of it, man. I don't like bending them. Glenn Medina Bear, what's new? Give us the scoop. Well, we got to see the defensive tackles and at Combine. We got to see some of the defensive backs and safety potential guys moving around. And most of you, if you watched the Combine, even a little bit of it, you would have noticed what I noticed really quickly. And that's that there's an effect to this that's starting to take hold. And it's super interesting because the NFL, what it does is they try to add more and more aspects to how you can be involved with football, watch football, that sort of thing. So that's why they then started making the Combine this show, because I'm telling you right now, there was a time when no one cared about the Combine, literally, not even football people. The Combine sort of was a creation that they've now been evolving into something else. So now you watch the Combine almost as much as we watch the draft and things like that. When in reality, the Combine is just guys running around in, Speedos and going through drills. There's really nothing you glean from that. Now, can you tell small things? Yes. For example, if they have a drill for a defensive back and he has to do what's called the W drill, where you run up, down, up again, like the shape of a W on the ground. And then on the third part of it, you go up, back, up, that's 2, back, that's 3, and then you sprint. Right as you start to sprint, a quarterback person who's facing that defensive back throws a ball in the air, and they want you to catch it on the run and then run hard and finish. So we saw a lot of that. Almost everyone caught the ball, only a few slips, that sort of thing. And so I didn't really feel like I saw anyone that made me say, okay, I got to mention this guy or that guy, because most of them were pretty good. In fact, in point of fact, I was impressed. I think that there's going to be there's going to be at least, I'd say, 20, maybe 25 guys at defensive back that can actually play. You know what I mean? Now, a handful that will be superstars, but a handful. You know, what I saw today, their body, you know what I mean? How big are they? Are they skinny in the legs and, you know, they're a safety and they only weigh 220? Or is this a big guy that could almost play a linebacker, but he runs around at 225, 235? And so he's big, but not big enough necessarily to be a linebacker, and small and fast enough to play safety. I saw a lot of that. And the athleticism was pretty awesome. Now, what I was getting at a moment ago was, if you've ever watched a reality show of any kind, you notice as fans, when season 2 comes, the next crew of people that are going to be on that show are not just excited to be on the show because they watched it before, but because they watched it before and they think they've learned and have somewhat of an advantage going to the show. Now you fast forward to year 3, 4, 5, 6. By the time you get to that 5th, 6th season, you expect everyone that comes on the show to really know that show and know strategy and things like that. I would give you, for an example, Hell's Kitchen. My daughter really loves Hell's Kitchen. We watch it together all the time. And we noticed from season to season, the chefs that would come onto the show every season, the caliber of chef seemed to go up. The knowledge of the chefs of what other meals and things they have to be able to prepare went up because they'd seen previous seasons. I feel like we've seen so many combines and so many college kids now starting to say the moment they get out of college and they declare for the draft, they have a window of 3 to 4 months before they actually get to the combine and then the draft, where they can gain muscle and speed. And they hire trainers specifically for getting them ready, not just to be a better athlete, but to actually run the same drills that they're going to see at the combine. See, we've never had that before. Now we have personal trainer coaches who can run them through every aspect of what's going to be done at the combine, so they show up and their combine numbers are out of control. You see what I'm saying? Or by out of control, I mean like super impressive. And there's another guy, he's going to be considered the #1 defensive tackle. I can't remember all these names, guys. I apologize if I get the names mixed up. Someone, I think it was Jesse Parker, even said Flying Willie James or something like that, some character for a movie. And I'm like, yeah. And that's because I thought we were on the same page. I wasn't even going with the name because I couldn't remember the name. You see what I mean? So when he said that, I was like, yeah, okay. See, but I don't mind talking about my bloopers. I have plenty of them. Okay, hold on. I have it right here. I'm just gonna pull up my little list here real quick because I like my list. That's the quarterbacks. Okay, here we go. Byron Murphy. That was who it was. Byron Murphy of Texas. Now, Byron Murphy of Texas looks great. I love the idea of bringing him in, but I don't think he'll be on the board. Just like you're going to lose, a certain amount of quarterbacks in the top 10, certain amount of defensive backs, maybe a linebacker. You're going to lose those guys within the first 15. So the odds of there being one left of those when our pick comes up, highly unlikely. We'll probably be looking at the second best kind of guy at that position, which is Illinois' Jerzon Newton. That's another one. Brandon Dorless of Oregon. Then you have Tavondre Sweat, Texas. And then Chris Jenkins with Michigan. Now, even though Chris Jenkins came somewhat in 5th of the list of people that we're talking about, what they felt would be the best defensive tackles, nose tackles, so to say, going into the NFL, I noticed some guys I did not like at all. Now, when I say that, this might surprise you, but their #1 choice from Texas, Byron Murphy, I don't like it. I don't like it. They're projecting him like an Aaron Donald. Okay, like a Khalil Mack. But I just got done yesterday and today kind of going over studying the intangibles. The guy's 6 feet tall. Now, you know as well as I do, when they put your stats out there for the NFL, they always exaggerate a little bit. So if a guy says he's 6'2", they say he's 6'3.25". I'm serious. Look it up. So what I'm getting at is that I don't know if we really can glean anything from these guys as much as we might have in the past. That's kind of what I was getting at. SA Big Dog said, let's talk about AP's haters. SA, I got to tell you, first, that was going to happen because he's the coach of the Raiders. So we can't now forget, where he is. Plus, he came in with the attitude like a Raider. When have you ever seen a coach take a job the way he did? He goes into the locker room and goes, hey guys, I just signed a contract. Guess what? Ray! And then just immediately goes to the shouting Raiders. Nobody does that. You know what I mean? And so he's got he's got Raider Nation in love with him already. We already love the guy, but now we have to see him do the job. And what I love is he's doing a lot of little things that's going to help him do it. But as far as the haters, that all comes from him talking about Bounty Gate in effect, which is what they're implying. The people that are hating on him, they're saying it's a derivative of a bounty, and that we're saying, hey, whoever's on the Raider team, you get an extra 1,000 if you knock Patrick Mahomes down, things like that. And they don't want that image on the players. I see you, Jim. Glenn Medina. I like McCarthy a lot. My problem is that I don't know if even he will be available. Because we know, obviously, number one, Caleb Williams, he's going to be gone. Then Jaden Daniels has climbed up the board. I remember when Jaden Daniels was a low first-round pick to some, and now he's considered the number 2, number 3 overall to get picked. So I can kind of get that. Drake May. Now, Drake May of North Carolina, he's the one that I think has the best chance to actually pan out. Now, not among all the quarterbacks. I just mean that he's one of the ones I think that's going to pan out. He's going to be a pocket thrower. He's going to be one of those guys that can shuffle in the pocket to make guys miss and then complete passes. I think we're going to see something from Drake May, North Carolina. Okay, then they had J.J. McCarthy, 4th from Michigan. I like it. I like the size. I like the fact that he's a thinking man's quarterback. I kind of like the J.J. McCarthy experience. I think that him with the Raiders could end up being a really nice fit. And it would put the NFL under a lot of pressure to stop treating us like jerks, because they're going to want to show him, especially if he plays well for us. If he comes out of the gate and plays well, or wins the job, I mean, that could be big. Now, last but not least, I know we've been looking at Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. For us, but I don't know if people know enough about Michael Penix Jr. to make that comment. In hang on, I had the numbers right here. Oh, maybe I don't. Nope, that's not it. No, that's not it. That's that linebacker from UCLA, Latu. Oh my God, that guy's bad. Okay, Michael Penix Jr. had an ACL tear in 2018 and an ACL tear in 2020. Michael Penix Jr. also had shoulder injuries in 2019 and 2021 that caused him to miss games. So you have multiple injuries in almost 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. If he goes into the NFL and he tears his ACL, which we all know can be a career-threatening injury. Now, today's science has made the ACL tear not a career ender in some sports like basketball and baseball. But with football, I don't see it. It's football. Everything about it is pressure on muscles on every given snap. Go! Every given snap. Go! You're tensing your muscles. You're making cuts. And we're talking about his ACL. You know what I mean? That's why I've been so worried about Zamir White and Zeus. And he had the same problems. So I'm not, and although we've seen some good things from Zeus, I didn't agree with that pick. I didn't. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say I was against it, but I didn't agree with that pick. And I don't agree with the pick of Penix Jr. I think that Penix Jr. has the arm. I think he has the trying to make it just the right word. The arm mechanics, his arm mechanics. In other words, his motion is short. He throws left-handed, but I'm not going to demonstrate with my left hand. I look like a goof, but too late. But he just has a really short, tight motion. He throws darts. I love how accurate he is. I love his strength. I like his size. He's not a mobile quarterback, and I know everybody's been wanting the mobile quarterback, but like I was saying with J.J. McCarthy, he has in-pocket mobility. He has a way to see things and squirt out make it to a safe spot, then reacquire receivers and throw the ball. Michael Penix Jr. can do that as well or better than anyone in this draft. The problem is he has 4 major injuries, guys. 4. The Achilles, twice in the Achilles, twice in his shoulders. Throwing motion, quarterbacks. I don't like it. And it's a black quarterback. I want to be right behind him going, yeah, let's go. More black quarterbacks. But I wouldn't risk that. I wouldn't risk that. Do you think we could pass on Caleb Williams because of character issues if Daniels gets taken at 1 by someone else? John, I got to tell you, I take it back. That's a great picture. I got to tell you, the Caleb Williams thing took kind of a torpedo today, and he fired it himself. Himself meaning Caleb Williams. He refused to do any kind of medical stuff. Now, I didn't mind that he refused to throw, because what difference does it make if he throws? And I've said it in the past. If you already have a ton of tape of a guy from the college ranks throwing the ball, the only thing that he's going to do in the combine is bring his, what would you call it? His value down. Because any combine he does, he would have to do it perfect or very impressive for them to just go, okay. You see what I mean? It's not fair. It's a loaded system. In other words, if he went in there as Caleb Williams and just blew out all the test, threw the ball all over the field, looked incredible, strength tests, he's incredible. The NFL would just go, all right, we already knew you were a great athlete. And they won't add anything to his check or guarantee any more of his money. But I guarantee you they'll bring it down and pay him less and find reasons to not pay him as much because they go, well, you did this. Hey, Tommy. Hi, Mom. 714 in the house. Appreciate that, TD. What linebacker should we target? I honestly, I like the kid from UCLA. In truth, linebackers are where defenses get done. And we have been tinkering with the defensive line and the secondary a lot, but we really haven't made moves at linebacker. Not really. I mean, we brought in, Band-Aid guys that have come and gone, but it's time to go after some guys that can play linebacker. Now, I've been asked a lot about the linebackers that are coming out of free agency. They're all right. Patrick Queen, I like a lot. I think if he came out and we got him, that could do a lot of good for us. Hold on, I'm just going through my notes here. That was my defensive tackle stuff. There he is. And I know I'm saying his name wrong, so guys, bear with me. But Latu, linebacker, UCLA. I like the speed. I like the physique. He plays like an animal. He has a 20.4% on pressures. That's one of the higher guys in college football. And who is it that we know that's the master of the pressure? Max Crosby. So you put Max Crosby and that guy side by side. Let's let it run. You know what I mean? He would be real nice for us. And I think it's time. I really do. I think it's time that we find a linebacker and just sit on him. I didn't feel that way necessarily. I thought that it was going to be more of the first round pick would probably be more of the defensive back precision, or maybe even a right tackle, the best right tackle in the country, which I still would not have a problem with. If they do that, I still wouldn't have a problem with that. Yeah, someone's been in here funking with my stuff. Okay. Tony, make it dip. Who should we get in free agency and what position? Well, I was in my free agency list just the other day, and I saw Josie Jewell right here, Denver Broncos. I kind of like that. He's a $5 million player, so not a superstar, but definitely not a guy that you can pay chump change because he can play. He comes over and gives us information immediately about the Denver Broncos. I love the idea of that. So there's one for you right now. And then also Bobby Wagner, the former legend of the Seattle Seahawks Legion of Doom, who moved on and went somewhere else. I forget where he's been at lately, but I don't care. I think it was the Rams, but I don't care. That guy, Bobby Wagner, should be a Raider. Now, I know he's older, but I don't care. I really like him. And I just want to say one more time, Tyrod Taylor, the backup quarterback of the Giants last year. He's been to multiple different teams, the Ravens, the Browns. He's been all over the place. But I love Tyrod Taylor as a backup quarterback, and he could help with the maturity of AOC, while whoever we bring in, that we either say, okay, this college pick, beat him out for the job, and we're going to let them fight for the job, so to speak, or do they go into free agency like some people think? You bring in a Kirk Cousins type. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins because I don't think we're going to get him. And I only think that because I think, once again, and I've said this many times, and I apologize because you're going to hear it a lot, and I'm probably going to have to say it more, but the Raiders get used a lot in trade rumors and conversations because they want to stress the team that really wants them into paying more and not losing the free agent from the rumors they're hearing about them potentially going to the Raiders. Okay. And then also Isaiah Simmons, also of the New York Giants, very nice linebacker. He can play middle or strong side, if I remember correctly. I would like to, I have been actually looking at this because it's funny you brought up linebackers, because that was kind of my focus tonight. Is I just felt like we got to get better at outside linebacker too. Josh Allen of the Jacksonville Jaguars, for example, still only 26 years old, but that's right in your wheelhouse as far as the kind of guy you want. And at $5 million, I'm going to say $6 million because he makes $5,685,660. So that's a little bit more on the side of, we say 5.7. 5.7 million. To me, especially with the new cap space, I go after that guy and just get a deal done. It's solid. Okay, sorry, I don't know if you guys could hear that, but I had there was another guy, Mike Florio, who I was listening to. He was discussing some things with the team and how we should handle them. And I thought he made some good points, but I also thought he said some really stupid things too. That was for the dogs. Don't get all, stuck up, okay? And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to that woman that needs no introduction, but has one of the best in the business, that red-headed lady of rage. Woo! The Mama Bear! Now get out. You have done that before, though. You're like, hi, everyone. And then you turned and walked out. And I laughed for 10 minutes.
No, I was going to ask if you wanted the rest of it.
Oh, you mean the moonshine? You can show it to him. Come on.
Oh my God, that's
You can show it to him. It's not, Yeah, I got a little bottle of apple cider moonshine. That stuff will fuel your whole body all night long. And it's terrible. All it does is start the party, but it doesn't taste like it.
It's apple pie. Yeah, this stuff, woo.
Right. Mark Vargas looking good in all that A's gear, my brother. Loving that profile picture. Now, what do I think about all the quarterbacks, linebackers in the combine so far? I don't see a standout. I just see an overall quality level lift. And I don't know which one you like better, but personally, I kind of like that better. I would rather have the entirety of the guys that we bring in the combine from here on out be guys that on a scale of 1 to 10, they're like all 7s. You know what I mean? All 6s and 7s, and then you sneak in an 8, 9, or a 10 in somewhere in here and there. And you just hope for that. And then when you get to that early part of the draft, you bring in those 1s and 2s and 3s that you think are I did it the other way around. Out of 10, you bring in the 8s and the 9s and potentially a 10, considered by most in the draft and combine, this Caleb Williams, he would be the 10. But I just think that Caleb Williams' career is destined to be. Now, there's a reason I gave you that scientific study of saying, and I can spell that too. But I don't like his intangibles. When teams pressured him and changed how they were playing defense against him, he struggled. If I'm not mistaken, he went 6-1 at one point and then went 1-6 right after that. I don't like it. Holds the ball too long. And listen to this, my bear. Michael A. Chandler Jr. is watching you from vacation in the Philippines. Tons and tons of Raider fans here.
In the Philippines? Really?
In the Philippines.
Wow.
Raiders! was for all the fans out there, Michael A. Charlander Jr. Appreciate you, brother.
And that just means there's a lot of cool people in the Philippines.
Yes, much love to all the people in the Philippines. Does the combine really matter, Bear? I don't know. Now, what it does is it shows you athleticism. You notice how every once in a while, when you were like a little kid, they would have that balance beam that all the kids would run across, you know, at playtime or whatever grade level you were at when you're doing that. I was a high schooler, but I just enjoyed the thing. But, you know, you see people who are more graceful. They have more athleticism. Balance is much better. See, to me, I want to see balance. You know what I mean? I'm looking for guys that have balance, that can keep their feet underneath them. When you see guys stumble and shuffle their feet on what is one of the more expensive surfaces that you could ever run on, I don't like that. And you could hear the guys who were watching the combine saying it too. If you're slipping and falling, you're playing a little too out of control, maybe running faster than you really can because you're trying to impress people. No, just run the drill. You know what I mean? Do the drill well. That's it. You don't have to break records. You don't have to be the best at the drill. Just be good. That's it. And to be honest with you, I do feel like the combine is important because it shows that. For example, I completely played DK Metcalf. Now, everybody on here knows who DK Metcalf is, but for those who might not know who DK Metcalf is, like Mama Bear.
That's why I kind of looked down like
I saw you cowering. He's a wide receiver, and he was selected by the Seattle Seahawks because of his blazing speed. But one of the things I said to Raider Nation when he was picked was, don't be upset about that. We did not lose a really great receiver. He's good, but he's not great. He doesn't have that many tools. He goes fast in a straight line, better than almost anyone on earth. But the moment you ask him to turn or pause and go or run a slant or any of that other stuff, he can't do it. Think of it like a semi truck that's going 100 miles an hour. And then you ask that truck to slow down and start weaving through cones. It can't do it. That's what his problem is. He can't get that pitter patter of the feet to turn right or left and juke a guy. He was never good at it, and he went right into the combine bad at it. He came out of the drills at the combine in dead last, even though he was ranked as one of the highest regarded wide receivers in the entire draft. Your boy, R8RBEAR, spotted that. And then he took that problem with him to the pros. He cannot run an entire tree of routes that any other great receiver with that physique could run, which is another problem I have with that guy. His dad is a professional personal trainer. His brothers, him, they've been working out in the gym since they were embryos, if that's possible, because they look like it. I mean, they're just godlike ripped. He looks like Black Zeus, but that doesn't benefit you on the football field. In point of fact, it makes you get hurt more often, because when you have that perfect, for the ladies, biceps and chest and your abs are all crushed down, you don't have enough body fat to resist the damage of impact, both from the ground and from other players, and they get hurt because they're too tight. I would give you Christian McCaffrey. Look at the body type. He looks like a bodybuilder. He's all carved up, but he gets hurt every year, right on schedule, gets all banged up. And, you know, I've had people counter argue with me saying that that's what happens to running backs. Of course it does, but it's not supposed to happen to the number one highest paid running back in football that has 3 or 4 other wide receivers and a tight end that's going to go into the Hall of Fame, an accurate quarterback, and you can't just get your yards and get down without getting hurt. And he does it on non-contact stuff. That's the other thing I wanted to mention too. Him and Michael Penix Jr. sustained injuries, but they weren't from big hits. They weren't from contact. It was just from running and moving and juking and putting pressure on joints, and bang, things break. And they're similar builds. The NFL Network, Glenn Medina, I don't know the channel though. We do need a couple cornerbacks. We will go that direction, Glenn. In fact, I'm starting to get really convinced that the Raiders are going to go with Terrian something or other, the kid from Alabama, because it's a smart, solid pick. And I think that that's what we're going to see is Tom Telesco bring a little bit of calm and go ahead and get guys that aren't just flash guys that we've seen in the combine and their names all over ESPN every day. No, we're going to go and get guys that can play and that make this team better than it's already now, because it's damn close right now. We're damn close to having a really good winner. Greetings, Raider Bear. I'm glad you're sitting down. I spent the day in Washington. Oh no. Whenever Doc Raider spends the day driving his truck and doing work and loads out in Washington, he always comes back pissed off. Let's see. Wait for it. Had a very good day. Oh, nice. Way to go, sir. I'm impressed.
It's Friday. You gotta have it.
I'm telling you, he got something right. Charles Washington, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I hope watching the first 2 days of the combine changes the narrative of trading up for a fantasy play. You know, Charles, I hate to agree with you, but I think you're right. I think a lot of these guys are sort of washing into one another, but I don't know if that's necessarily that bad. Why does it have to be the stars and these other guys we might pick? No, I want stars. I want more of a level of play that any one of them I pick is going to show up and have the goods. It's still just football in the long run. Now, yes, there's a way more analytically that you have to learn how defenses shift against wide receivers and how your responsibility as a wide receiver within like a 5 or 6 second window at the NFL level, he has to see what the defense is doing and adjust if he has to adjust to give his quarterback, angles and an out. Mark Vargas said NFL Network. Michael Purifoy, the franchise grades came out, and I'm a bit surprised at some of the lower scores we got. I think we went from 3rd to 9th or something like that. Well, the franchise is in good shape, but it's not in good hands. And so that's why you're getting this. And anything that works like that, you're going to have, okay, honey, how am I supposed to have them watch my show with you bending over behind me? I was suggesting you do it again. Miguel Garcia, 559 in the house. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. But Michael, honestly, I don't know what to say other than that they don't like Mark Davis and the Davis family. And until they're not the owners of the Raiders, things like this are going to happen because, but I would argue also, and this is a reflection on Mark Davis. Don't forget, they had pay issues with their cheerleaders. They had what you would call discrepancies in how you're supposed to handle business at a place, i.e. sexual harassment, alcohol, et cetera, foul language, dirty deeds, people coming into work and finding out they're fired with no warning, things like that. It's just poor management. I don't know another way to put it. Let's see. Eric J. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. And his beautiful daughter checking in from Boise, Idaho. Wanting to say hi, everyone. Playing with my daughter this weekend, as always, and waiting for another 5 months till we see our Raiders. Appreciate that, Jet. Welcome to the show one more time. So crazy that the NFL has so many. Thank you. So crazy that the NFL has so many prospects and the NBA has so little. I would say, Charles, that you're starting to see some of black youth not get so immediately into basketball. You're seeing it now starting, finally, some of it going toward golf. You're seeing some of it finally starting to go toward baseball. And, of course, more and more to football. So, I missed one of the more important ones, too. UFC and MMA and all the different, places they can go to doing that and slap boxing and all this other stuff. If you really look at those guys in UFC, slap boxing, some of these other things, they would be NFL players. They would have been great NFL athletes. They went somewhere else. Sup at you, Travis McNeil. Good to see you. Antoine Anthony, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I'm excited about the concept of electronic ball placement. Okay. I don't know. I just, anytime they introduce stuff like that, though, I'm a little bit nervous. To trade up is a crazy play. Charles, honestly, I agree. I don't think any of these, in other words, just like last year, produced a lot of quarterbacks, that were, they may have been good at the college level, and they were, we were ranking them and all that other stuff, but were any of them dynamic? Did any of them come out other than CJ Stroud? CJ Stroud, we have to admit, that cat's dynamic. He squirts out of the pocket pressure, runs right, runs left, completes passes, sees the field. He's nice and can run a little more than a little bit. You know what I mean? So CJ Stroud, though, to me, was really one of the only ones that came out of that. Will Levis, though, he did a few things for the Titans. He had a kind of a bumpy start, but he started to get better. I think Will Levis we might see things from him next year. Mr. Raider Bear, who is hating on Coach Pierce? Are you talking about who Gramps calls the talking head weenies? Yes, Tommy, that's the same people. Rick Samarano. Bear, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I like your new profile pic. Bear, what are your thoughts on bringing in quarterback from the Jets and he surprises everyone that they picked as their second pick? I don't really like the idea of bringing in the quarterback of the Jets, but I don't think everything that happened with the Jets was his fault. He's a classic case of that little green Power Ranger, Zach Wilson. He's a classic case of he went to a team where it was a bad fit. You know what I mean? Whether that's with the coordinator or the quarterback coach or whatever the case may be, it's a bad fit. And so I just think that he needs a breath of fresh air. I think he could do some things if he ended up fighting for a job, say with the coaching staff of the Atlanta Falcons, or go to the Vikings. You know that Kirk Cousins isn't going to be there that much longer, whether it's because he retires or he goes to another team. He's not going to be a Viking that long. So if I was a guy like Zach Wilson, I might consider doing something like that. Go hide behind an accomplished starter, get your feet wet with the new organization. And then next season, maybe he lets it go. Maybe you outplay him in camp. Who knows? Still working, but wishing y'all an awesome day. Wow, Rick, I appreciate that. Putting butts in the Lombardi for running his mouth about AP, but won't say it to his face in the streets of Compton or on Raider property. Well, Antoine, I don't really care, about that kind of stuff. I always say, whenever you have great success, you always have great enemies, because you make enemies that wanted the success that you're having. And so anytime that happens, you're always going to get people who are going to mouth off about you personally, trying to somehow downgrade him with the Raiders and say all of a sudden now it was a terrible decision by Mark Davis of the Raiders to give him the coaching job. What else is he going to say if he's in the outs with the guy? What a lot, Baba, from Aloha Friday. Appreciate that, Rick. Long time, brother. What's up, Joe? Welcome to the show. I don't want Penix. He's a left-handed quarterback and injury prone. Now, injury prone, yes. I don't mind that he's left-handed. In point of fact, if you watch other great left-handed athletes, it always throws off all the other athletes because the majority of them are all right-handed. So I've always liked a highly skilled lefty, especially in baseball, man. You see a left-handed swing. There's nothing like a guy with a sweet stroke from the left-hand side. It's just better. I've never seen a right-handed best swing better than a left-handed best swing. You know what I mean? Like Ken Griffey Jr., that guy. Oh, and Will Clark from the Giants back in the day. I mean, just a sweet swing, man. Bear's the beast. Raiders! All right, here we go. In case you didn't notice, I'm spending the weekend with Val and Tommy, and Tommy grabbed my phone to make the last comment. Good job, Tommy. Telesco already said the medical will play a factor on who he picks. Well, John, that's just common sense. You know what I mean? That's a vanilla answer to a question, because you notice it tells us nothing. All he really said is he won't really factor in whether they've had injuries or not. But how can that be true? You know what I mean? That's just not true. Now, what he means by it is he won't factor it into making a decision on a guy. In other words, if he likes a guy, he doesn't care if he's got, ACL tears. He's saying, I'm going to bring that guy in, take a chance that he's going to be fine and have a great career. Because that does happen. You know what I mean? It really does. There are guys that come in from have we all forgotten about Tui Tagovailoa? I mean, wow. The guy got tackled by two guys around his knees. They barely touched him, and he dislocates his hip. Then gets better, listens to the Raider Bears say that guy is going to be a complete washout. Which I did say. I was like, there is no way that the Polynesian sensation is going to go into the NFL and be a great starting quarterback with the hips of a 68-year-old. And yet there he is, still doing it. And I'm not coming off what I said either. I'm not. He's still in his rookie deal. I could still end up being right about this. I'm telling you, that whole thing with his hip scared the living Jesus out of me. I'm just like, no. Remember, we did that with DJ Hayden. DJ Hayden had it's the, I don't know if it's the aorta, but I'm going to say aorta, but he had the pipe that goes directly into the bottom of your heart. It's like one of the biggest ones. And what happens is, because it's so close to the front of your chest and your heart, when you get hit here really hard, sometimes that can actually dislocate. And so the blood that's flowing from that aorta gets to the heart, gets separated. That's what happened to DJ Hayden. And by the way, I looked it up. It has a 96% mortality rate. In other words, so I know Tommy knows what I'm saying. That means 96% of the time when you have that injury, you die. And yet he lived. Not only lived, but went to the NFL and flourished. Now, he never became a star, but he lasted in the NFL for quite a while. I mean, I'd say it was like, what was it, like 6-8 years, something like that? And, for a DB that didn't pan out, that's pretty good. Tim Heckhock, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Nobody wears a cowboy hat like Tim Heckhock. Welcome to the show, brother. We might pick University of Texas defensive tackle Byron Murphy at 13. What do you think? I don't like it. He's 6 foot tall and he's 300 pounds at best. In other words, they say he walks around at 290, 297. So he's barely even 300 pounds and only 6 feet tall. Ask me what you think. Someone that's 6 feet tall and weighs 295, let's say, pounds, up against Colton Miller, who's 6'6", 350 pounds. He's going to get pushed around like a little boy. And I can't remember his name, but it was TJ Hall. I can't remember his name, but it was a Raider defensive tackle that we brought in, and he had the exact same sort of tangibles. He was getting pressures at the college level. He was stopping the run. He ended up finishing with like 6 sacks, and he could run a 40, in like 4.5 flat. So he was running linebacker, defensive back speeds in the 40 at defensive tackle. So I was like, yeah, bring him on. And then we saw what happened. Everyone blocked him. He couldn't get off his blocks. Charles Washington said these players are coming in the NFL with big money in their pockets already. I mean, it's about time. I'm sorry, brother. I agree with that. When you consider, I don't know if you're a video game player, Charles, but I am. When you consider how many different NFL games that have come out in the last, 15, 20 years that have all these guys on them from college, and it's EA Sports, the NCAAs. I said NFL. I should have said that. I mean, the video games that use the college players. But the NFL game, the NCAA games for like your PlayStation 5 and your John Madden and whatever the football game is, you didn't get paid as a kid, even though the school got paid from your play and everyone around you and the coach and the agents, everybody's paid, but you can't pay students. I don't know why that was the holy grail. I didn't understand that. I'm trying to prevent like gambling. You'd be better off letting them get paid. Then they'd be less likely to risk taking money and getting into trouble if they have money. Jim Garrison, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. What about Spencer Rattler? Mark Marcus, I'm hearing everything is a second day pick with Spencer Rattler. So if we get him second day pick, I like it. I just don't want him late in the first round. But on the other hand, our second round pick is a fairly highly one. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am, our second round pick is a top 10 pick of the first 10 picks in the second round. So with that being said, I don't know, does he rate that? I could say yeah, but especially a quarterback being as important as it is. Free agent trenches. He went back to Seattle. Okay. AJ Cole will be the grand marshal at the NASCAR this weekend here in Vegas, considering a majority of NASCAR fans are either Queefs fans or Cheatriots. Yeah. We have a lot of money, but have to give it to players. Yeah, Charles, we have to do that. And Tom Telesco, I think, has shown that he can build a roster. The Chargers roster was good. Their problem was their coaching. You know what I mean? It just was. The head coach was not good. And then they brought in Kellen Moore, excuse me. They brought in Kellen Moore, the former offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, who clearly couldn't get their offense going. They fired him for that reason after considering making him a coach on a couple different occasions. And then when he didn't get an opportunity, they just let him go. And then he ends up the coordinator. And, the Chargers, went downhill big time. David Sotelo said hi from Bullhead. Appreciate you, brother. Welcome to the show. Peyton Willis ran a 4.44 40-yard dash, Bear. That's fast. That is fast. Time to get JJ go find another team. The league knows his moves now, and we use him too much, I think was what you're going to say. Charles, I don't think that'll happen. Josh Jacobs is not figured out. I don't agree with that at all, especially now when you're going to have him coming in with a new offense and a new offensive coordinator. There's going to be some wrinkles to the offense in the running game that people haven't seen. So I think we're going to be okay there. And that's if we pay him. It's not a guarantee, but we'll see. Samuel Guerra said, "Hey, Raider Bear, happy Friday. Appreciate you. You think we re-sign Jacobs?" Yeah, honestly, I do. I do. I just think that a guy like that's a proven grinder that gives you a combination of yards per carry, touchdowns, and being able to break loose and get more yards, always falls forward, that kind of thing. I just think those are qualities you can't just find in another guy. He was a modern day Marshawn Lynch. Okay, P.S. My brother is home now from the minor stroke. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, brother. Prayers be to God. He's going to take home therapy 2 times a week and take blood pressure medicine. He's using the walker and doing better now. That's good. Thanks for the prayers, Raider Nation. I became a Raider fan because of my brother. Right on, Samuel. I appreciate that, and God bless him. I hope he gets better even faster. Bear, do you see us running a 2-headed monster at running back position since Telesco said it? Antoine, you can't really take anything they say. You have to watch what they are doing. You know what I mean? So when we see the draft, we'll get an idea, but I'm not really sure about that. I think that's what the Chargers did. They just did it less effectively. So we don't really remember it as much because they didn't have guys that were names at running back, except for Austin Eckler that were going to produce that. I think with us, it would draw a lot more attention and it would probably work. Attention from fans. They'll remember it because we have two guys that can slash you on any given play. If you have the caliber of a Josh Jacobs and Zeus, I mean, how many teams even have 2 great running backs like that? So that are bulldozers and fast and tough, and they're proven. You know what I mean? They will go right through the A and B gap and slap fools. So Williams is a Jamarcus Russell in my opinion. Glenn, I'm starting to believe people that say that. I just am. I just think that there's warning signs in some of the things that have happened with him, both since he announced that he was going to go pro. Now the whole thing, I'm not going to do the medicals. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to throw at the combine. I didn't mind that, but at the same time, you combine it with now, I'm not even going to do medicals with you either. I mean, now I'll give you my opinion on that. Because I know you're hearing different things. People are saying it means nothing. Some people are saying he must have a really bad injury. No, he already said at his pro day he would let them do physicals and things like that. But see, that tells me that he's trying to buy time. In other words, he's probably close to being 100%, but not quite. And then feels like with this time between the combine and his pro day that he can get 100%. Then when they go to look at his range of motion and things like that, and is he still elastic, so to speak, and fast in his legs, then, he'll be okay. But it'll look bad that he did it that way. Oscar De Leon, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I'm not putting foots into Patrick Mahomes. That's too easy. That's light work. I call him the redheaded Teletubby all the time with his squeaky voice and his wife that looks like if a strong wind comes by, it's going to pick her up and blow her away. I'm sorry, okay? Raider men, okay? Not all Raider men, okay? But most Raider men like Raiderettes that eat. I'm just saying, what I mean? We're not about picking at bones, you know what I mean? Caleb Williams stock is going to drop. Hope he's not a bust. Antoine, I would guess from your comment, and I would say from me too, I do think that's what's going to happen. I just think it's much more likely, that he fails than it is that he's going to become what people are saying he might, because I don't see it. I don't see it. He makes too many mistakes that aren't glaring at the college level, but at the pro level will be extremely glaring. For example, he holds the ball too long trying to make plays, and he thinks that he can roll and move and roll out and just run a few yards and then set up his arm again and throw, which at the college level you can get away with once in a while, but you cannot at the pro level. And what will happen is he'll get away with it once or twice. He'll start to think, I could do it just like I did in college. And then he'll go to week 2 and he'll get away with it once or twice, or do it, roll out over here, throw a ball, blah, blah, always looking good. And then week 3, someone's going to go, oh, look, we've had 2 weeks of study on this kid. He likes to roll and do this and sit down after 5 yards. Oh, okay. And he's going to get blasted. I'm telling you. And I hope that he's listening, and I hope he gets that right. Not listening to me, but I mean, just listening to coaches. He's got to get rid of the ball faster. Much love, Corinna Trujillo. And I have more coming to you too. You were our winner the other night. So I have another medallion coming your way. Steeler Val, Mr. Bear, this isn't football related, but when you mentioned balance beams, I just wanted to brag on myself a little bit and say that when Dad was teaching me martial arts, I used to practice some kata on a beam, karate on a beam, but it was only 6 inches off the ground and there was a mat beneath it. Oh, that doesn't matter. If it was 6 feet off the ground or 6 inches, that doesn't matter. Balance is balance. If you can balance on it, you're good. And if you can't, you're not. And I don't have that skill. I feel like I have great balance because I've always been a good basketball, football, baseball player. I swam on the swim team. I was on the dive team, did a lot of stuff, where you had to have good control of your body. So I've always been good at those things. It's the finesse stuff where it's not about your power that I suck. I can't golf. I can hit the ball consistently from what I'm told is pretty good for someone that's a super amateur like me. But I don't like it. I like everything about it, but playing it. Golf is so nice, man. You go out on a nice weather day and the grass is all groomed and some of the grounds you can see ducks and birds playing in ponds, and that's beautiful, man. I love it. And every hole you go to next, it's beautiful. And you get these beautiful views, these rolling hills and all that stuff. Stunning. But I can't hit a golf ball to save my mama's life. I'd be like, sorry, Mom. Hold up. Wait a minute. What Raider male? Corinna Trujillo. He won a competition for me the other night. Those 2 kids at CB in Alabama are nice, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah. I think Tarian is going to be the guy we're going to bring in. Maybe. I like the idea of using the first round pick, but then drafting back down, even if it's after the second round pick. In other words, for those of you who are thinking about Rattler, I would say that it might go something like this: first round pick, we pick the best offensive tackle in the country. Okay. Now I don't want to confuse you guys. I know I've given you a couple different names. I said Tarian, the cornerback from Alabama, and I thought they'd pick him. Now I'm talking about offense, an offensive lineman on the right tackle. I only say this because I'm speculating and I want all of you to have an idea of what I think Tom Telesco is going to do. I don't necessarily think he's going to trade down until he gets out of the second round and is entering the third. There, I think he'll do it because I feel like if you stockpile picks from the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds, I'd argue even the 6th round. If you can stockpile picks in there, and so instead of each one of those rounds, instead of getting 1 guy or 2, you're getting 3 or 4 guys. Now the likelihood of you hitting on someone who ends up playing well at the NFL level is much higher if you do it that way. So I'm hoping after the 1st and 2nd picks, we start trading down. Maybe not as bad as Jamarcus Russell, but I definitely think he'll be a bust. We're hearing a lot of that. I would say the experts disagree with us, but they've been wrong before, and I think they're going to be wrong again. I think Caleb Williams is really nice, but he reminds me of Anthony Richardson that went to the Colts. The body is tight, you know what I mean? A lot of muscle, can he loosen up, limber up? Now, Caleb Williams is a little bit more loose than Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, to me, was not supposed to be a quarterback. I think he wanted to just get the contract. Because at what position in the NFL can you get a better contract than quarterback? Right? You just can't. And so if it was me and my coach said to me, Joe, I know you've been a wide receiver your whole career, but you need to be a quarterback. I'm going to have you play quarterback the last part of the season so you can get into the NFL at quarterback. And now he's just won me an extra $20 million. I think that might be what Anthony Richardson did. I mean, so what if he has a great NFL career? If he has $20 million guaranteed because he became a quarterback, I'd do it too. Then you can rush me out of the league, call me a bust, all that stuff. I'm going to be in Barbados as a bust on the beach with my wife and her and my whole family. Yeah, I'm still up in the air on the quarterbacks. Mark Vargas, that's because they're almost all the same. It's not that they're not good. They're good, but they're not. None of them really stands out beyond the rest. None of them. It's not an off year at quarterback. I'm not going to go that far, but I think that last year's crop of quarterbacks and this year's crop of quarterbacks, about the same, except I don't know that any of these guys are going to come in and play like CJ Stroud did. And be honest, none of us saw that coming. You know what I mean? Because you just never can tell. I've always said the number one excuse for a quarterback not playing well is the franchise. And yet CJ Stroud went to the Texans. I mean, that place is on fire in a dumpster all at the same time. And yet he went in there and he's gloriously excelling. So I'm tired of getting non-star players on our team. Time for a change. I think they'll do some of that, but I think that'll be in free agency. What's happening, Bear? What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Santino Caranco. Love that name. Armando Medrano. What's up? I like that one too. Hey, Bear, what's your thoughts on Spencer Rattler? Armando, I think he's a perfect number 2 day quarterback. And I also think he's a guy that could have that like inner toughness where he'll be offended that he's not a first round guy. He'll come into this with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder and could become a great quarterback. Glenn Medina said 559 Fresno in the house, always when my Wi-Fi works. Oh, man. Troy Gill, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Competing on Power Slap. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. They're just doing other things. Will Nana, what's up, Bear? The crazy squirrel is in the house. Good to see you, man. Glenn Medina said no Zach Wilson. I don't know, man. I just don't know if you can decide that what Zach Wilson is as a result of his bad play or is as a result of the Jets and New York City. I just think the guy, he's a MILF hunter, and it got, which actually made me like him a little bit more, but not for the NFL. But because I know I am one, you see my wife, but he needs a change of scenery desperately. You know what I mean? And I just think the guy could play well if he's given the right system. I mean, for example, you see what Brock Purdy, a 7th round Mr. Irrelevant, did with the Niners. What would he do with the Niners? You put Wilson with Shanahan, he might do some things. No, I just wanted to give an alternative answer. He wouldn't do anything. That guy's a bust. Oh, I want Bo Nix. Bo Nix is interesting, very physical, a competitor. I like the idea of that. So far, I haven't really found anything about him that I would say no, like I did with Anthony Penix. What does the medical mean at the combine? What about that? What injuries in the past? Don't know. Glenn Medina, the medical means they give you a complete physical. They put the stethoscope on you, have you cough and breathe in and out, see if you're a smoker. They tap on your knees and make sure your reflexes are there, your elbows, your funny bone, things like that. And they're just making sure you don't have injuries. They will grab your arm and just sort of twist and see, does that hurt your shoulder? Does he wince when I do that? If I pull his elbow straight or pull him, away from the socket in his shoulder socket, does it hurt him? You know what I mean? And they're trying to find potentially an injury that the player might be hiding, because oftentimes they'll do that, because if they get an injury going into the combine and in the draft, the teams will use that as a reason, sometimes not to pick him at all, and other times to downgrade him and say, well, we were going to give you $40 million a year, but for 3 years, but we decided we're going to go to 12, 12.5 for the next 4 years. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I think he's a good player, Mark Vargas. I just don't know where he's going to be drafted as far as Joe Milton. Tua's injury was the same as Bo Jackson's. He recovered faster thanks to the youth on his side. Well, that and the medical, when Bo Jackson was a pro, and the medical compared to then and now, I mean, Antoine, it's a no-brainer. I mean, the medical facilities and the surgeries they can do now are light years better than what was around when Bo Jackson was getting hurt. Grampy said the talking head weenies are mostly always wrong, and they just flap their gums to have something to say. Indegenerate. I love you, Tommy. That's my guy right there. Tony, make a dip. PJ Hall, that was the guy, and I felt bad for him. He was a former wrestler. He was really good with his hands. He was into martial arts, and all that. So I just thought, he could be nice, but then he was 6 feet tall, 300 pounds, a little bit heavier than 300 pounds, but not that much. Defensive tackle Chop Robinson is a beast and would pair perfectly opposite of Max Crosby. I'd like to see that, but I just don't think he's going to make it to 13. He will be a bust. Okay, Jim. Penix is legit. His injuries were a fluke. To me, like Bradley Chubb, Kyler Murray, Nick Chubb, etc. If he's there at 13, we need to get him. Luckeye Pace. I just 2 ACL tears, though. 2 ACL tears. 2 seasons of injured shoulders at the college level. But now he's going to go to the pros, bigger men, faster men, and he's going to maintain. I just, if you and I were on a war, if you and I were in a war room about this, we would probably be bumping heads. Yeah, I love your comments and I love your mind as far as football, but I'm not talking about Penix's ability. His abilities are there. As far as what you think of him and what you see of his play on the field, his body mechanics, how hard he throws the ball and accurate, I see it all, brother. I agree with you, but the injury history is real. And some of those Achilles tears came from almost no contact. I'm worried for him, man. Of course, they used to think I don't want to take Steph Curry because he had bad ankles. And now what is he? What do you think about our wide receivers? Do we need some more help for Adams? Yes. What about Russell Wilson to the Raiders? Bob Standard, that's possible, but I think he might end up asking for more money than we would be willing to pay him. Rachel Mattori said, hell no. Hi, Rachel. Yes, I did call him a Teletubby, but yeah, I agree with you. I call Zach Wilson the Green Ranger. I don't know if you've ever seen the Power Rangers, but whenever he takes off that green helmet, I always want to go, Green Ranger, go. He just looks like a Green Ranger in that costume with his fancy polished green helmet. It's ridiculous. Mr. Guerra, me and Mommy were hoping you would be on the show soon because we've been praying for Manuel. We're glad he's doing better, but we're still going to pray 100% recovery. Good man. Good job. Good job, Val. Golf is not easy. I agree. Alexa, play Hide by NASA.
Here's Hide.
All right, I'm going out to dinner. You guys don't get to just hold me all night, okay? Only Mama Bear gets to do that. How's that for an answer? All right, that's my show. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force. For all you do, the energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. Remember, consider a subscription to R8RBEAR family page. It's just $5 a month, but you can cancel at any time. Also on YouTube, and on YouTube, it's free. So stop screwing around and go and like my YouTube, or I'm going to sit back, relax, and put butts in you on my next show. Oh, I'll do it. I'll do it. We beat the Chiefs. Then I'll do it. I don't know why I'm yelling at this point. Maybe it's just because I'm all fired up about getting some more people on YouTube finally. Now, let's do another hour right now. Right now. Mama Bear, I'm doing another hour. Let's go.